Yo, what's good YouTube, man? It's Gary with another Fan TV, man. Back at another video at the content. Video, go smash that like button at the content of this channel. Go subscribe, man. Look, I want to talk about, talk about the Ravens injury report. You know, it's Thursday. We got a little bit more information, right? Also want to talk about, the Ravens don't fall for the trap games, right? This is a big problem. It's been for the Ravens in the past, and, kind of want to discuss it again, right? Because we're coming into that part of the season. There's a little bit of a portion of the schedule where that could happen, right? First start off with the Ravens injury report. Um, so the Ravens have some big players that are still DNP. Zay Flowers has missed both days of practice. Marlon Humphrey has missed both days of practice. Um, Now some guys that did come back: Malik Harrison, Arthur Millette, full participant. Broderick Washington, full participant. The Ravens are going to need some of that interior pressure because Travis Jones is only limited right now. Okay, so they're gonna need some more interior guys. So it's good to see Broderick Washington coming back. Um, and then Jalen Armour Davis is back as well. He's one of the guys that was activated off of IR. And then we can't bury the lead here. Keaton Mitchell, right, who's one of the Ravens' big time playmakers last season, right? So the Ravens, Keaton Mitchell for sure won't play this week. He probably won't even play next week, right? But it's good to see the Ravens are getting a guy of that kind of explosive nature back in. The Ravens are already the number one rushing attack in the NFL. So now you add a guy like Keith Mitchell to the attack. Eventually, it's only going to go up from there, right? So that's big news, right? But I wouldn't be too worried about the injury report right now. We'll see how it all shakes out, right? In terms of game status and stuff like that. I don't think Marlon will play this week. Zay Flowers, we'll see, right? The Ravens could just be being cautious and keep him out, but we'll see from there, right? All right. So trap games, right? Ravens gotta watch out for the traps, okay? Especially these next 2 weeks, I would say, right? So you got Cleveland and you got Denver, okay? Now the Ravens have gone through an absolute gauntlet of quarterbacks, right? Let's look at it. Let's look at their season to start, right? So you had Kansas City, right? So you got Patrick Mahomes, you got the Cowboys, that's Dak Prescott, you got the Bills, that's Josh Allen, you got the Bengals, Joe Burrow, Commanders, Jaden Daniels, right? Looking like the Offensive Rookie of the Year, Baker Mayfield for Tampa Bay, who's having a hell of a season so far, right? The next couple of weeks, you're going to get Jameis Winston and Bo Nix, right? Now, the reason I'm even bringing this up is because we know the Ravens have a tendency of not always showing up for games that they know that they're supposed to win, right? Let's look at the team I skipped over in my little summary right there, the Oakland Raiders, right? Who at the time were starting Gardner Minshew, who then got benched, and they had to end up going back to Gardner Minshew only because Aiden O'Connell ended up, I think, breaking his thumb, fracturing his thumb, and he's on IR now, right? So the Ravens lost to a guy that was the starter, got benched, and just got his job back, right? In a game that they were in control of, let the Raiders hang around, and they came back and lost that football game, right? So this isn't paranoia or anything like that. This is actual factual results of the Ravens can sometimes in games that they know they're supposed to win, not show up fully, right? I probably will talk about it more in the game preview, talk about the Cleveland and get into what they do, right? I probably won't. When I do the game preview, I like to usually watch, a game and a half, or whatever from the team the Ravens are playing, right? For Cleveland, I probably just watch their defense play, right? Just to see what they do. Because with the offensive side of the ball, one, we know the offense is very good, right? We know that off the bat. They've been one of the worst offenses in the league. I think they're like one, like the only teams in NFL history, at least last week, to not score 20 points yet this season, right? In the first 6 games of the season, right? They never go above 20 points, all right? Then also, a major factor for why their offense was so bad is now hurt. That's Deshaun Watson. He tore his Achilles. So it's like watching a little bit of Jameis run to the end of the game is not really going to tell you anything about what the Browns are going to do to try to attack the Ravens. And also, the Browns are switching play callers, right? Ken Dorsey's going to take over the play calling from Kevin Stefanski, right? So it's just kind of hard to get a tell on what the Browns are really going to do on offense, besides, try to give Nick Chubb the ball and get him going, right? We know that. Excuse me. Trade Amari Cooper, so, that's up in the air. Anyway, but the Browns defense is really good, right? So, and this is an AFC North game. So the Ravens cannot come into this kind of game thinking that they're going to win this, right? And I'm not saying that the players do this or whatever, but for whatever reason it is, right? we can't deny the fact that when it comes to games where they know that they're the better team, they know that the team that should come on top, the results are lacking, right? I don't think, like I said, I don't think the players coming to these kind of games saying that, well, easy dub today, it is what it is. No, I think they want to win. They go out there trying to help for whatever reason. Mistakes tend to pile up in those games, and now that's how you blow leads. That's how you lose games to teams that you're not supposed to lose to, right? The Ravens realistically should have just the one loss on the season, right? But they did lose to the Raiders, and they played down to their competition, right? Now we can make a bunch of excuses. We can say, well, we were still getting Derrick Henry cut into the offense. It's only the second week of the season, and all of that is true, right? That's facts, right? But we've seen this plenty of times in the past, right? So the Ravens have to watch out for the traps, right? That's the major goal for the next 2 weeks, right? Because if the Ravens win these next two games, you get to 7-2, and then you play the Bengals. I believe that's a Thursday night game, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you play the Bengals here, Thursday night game. And that could be another blackout kind of game, right? How it was, when they played the Bills. Okay, so the Ravens can't get too far ahead of themselves. They have to play who's in front of them. All right, and it sounds simple, it sounds easy, and it's really redundant, honestly, if we're being quite truthful about it. But if there's one thing that the NFL can show you, that is that never take your opponent for granted, right? I've seen the 49ers this year blow leads, right? And the 49ers have had dealing with injuries and stuff like that, but they've blown leads this year, right? We've seen upsets all across the league. So for the Ravens, that's really my main thing that I'm thinking about when it's coming into these next two games, right? Because when you look at this Cleveland team, Cleveland I think has one win on the season. Hold on, what's Cleveland's record real quick? I clicked on the wrong game. Yeah, Cleveland is 1-6 on the year, right? So, and it's an AFC North game, so that helps it out with the motivation. But still, they're 1-6 on the year. They're not a good team. The fans are against them. The fans were cheering for a player that was injured, right? I ain't gonna get into all of that, but it is what it is on that. So it's a lot of things going into it where it's like, oh well, the Browns ain't gonna be ready to play this game, right? They got too much going against them. But the exact opposite can happen. They can come out motivated, ready to play with a new energy, and now the Ravens aren't ready for that. So you got to watch out for that stuff, right? But I will say this, right? Jim Schwartz, the Browns defensive coordinator, he might have gave Lamar Jackson some extra added motivation, right? He said that Lamar Jackson has gone from a run first quarterback to a pass first quarterback that can make plays with his feet, right? And I think that's a narrative that gets spun far too often, right? I'm not going to say that he was trying to disrespect Lamar Jackson, because he was probably just saying that Lamar Jackson is a great athlete, and now he's a great athlete that's playing a quarterback position at a very high level, right? So, but at the end of the day, that kind of narrative has gotten spun too much, right? Lamar Jackson has never been a run-first quarterback. When Greg Roman was here, when Lamar Jackson ran the football, it was on designed runs, right? I used to watch Lamar Jackson play and say, hey, look, you need to scramble more often, because he was trying so hard to prove that he was a passer that he wouldn't scramble sometimes, right? So he's kind of gotten over that now. I mean, if it's there, he's taking the lane, he's going to get those yards, right? So that's a great thing for Lamar Jackson. So we'll see if Jim Schwartz, those comments, add a little fuel to the fire for Lamar. But at the end of the day, right, the Ravens, you want to be one of the best teams in the league, right? You're proving that you're looking like one of the best teams in the NFL, especially on offense, right? Well, keep going and keep trying to kill these teams that are in front of you, right? Get to 7-2. You play the Bengals for a game on Thursday night where it could have big implications in the division, right? So the Ravens can't look past the Browns. They can't look past the Broncos. And if they get these two wins, the season is only going to be trending in the right direction, right? So that's my thoughts on it for this week, man. We'll come back with the game preview on Saturday. We'll talk about some more about the Browns, defense and stuff like that, and how the Ravens, I think, could win that game, right? Again, they should win. And we'll go from there, man. But like I said, reply to all comments. But it's Gabriel. This is Fan TV. I'm out.